Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about Butternut Box. Butternut Box is a dog food subscription service based in the UK. They make fresh, already portioned meals for dogs and then they deliver them directly to your door, already frozen, so that you can then defrost them and give them to your dog. I originally heard of these guys from ads that popped up on my Facebook. You know when you get an ad and it's the only ad you get for like 2 or 3 weeks? That was what this was. So my friend ended up ordering and she referred me, so I got like 75% off my first box for 2 weeks. So we're going to see what Beauty thinks of it and decide whether or not we're going to go ahead and keep ordering. So first thing on the box says, don't look now, but there's probably an excitable dog behind you. It was correct. So I think the first thing I should note is I ordered this on Sunday and it arrived Tuesday morning, and I was able to pick which morning I wanted it to arrive, or I could choose for it to arrive in the afternoon or the evening. So I chose the earliest possible delivery on Tuesday because I know I'd be home because I work nights, so morning time is the best time for this to appear. They have the most adorable tape, and I love the Springer Spaniel saying what's the crack. So what's the crack is like what's happening, what's fun, what's going on, but it's an Irish saying. So I think it's fantastic. When you open up the box, there's a couple of bits of information that you can immediately see. So on the top left there, you can see that it says, thank you for helping out. Not every dog is as lucky as a butternutter. That's why for every new pooch who signs up for Butternut, we donate a much needed meal to a dog in need. So that's just really, really cool. And then on the bottom left, there's Be Social. So they've got their social media stuff. Top right, it tells you for storing the pouches are currently frozen, but you can put some of them in the fridge and some of them into the freezer and then just take them out into the fridge to defrost. Their ingredients are 60% cooked meat, 40% veg, lentils, and everything your pup needs for the complete and balanced diet. The recycling, so everything in the box, the wool, the ice, the paper, is recyclable, which I think is great. And the very last thing they're saying is you made the right choice by ordering this box of goodness. And honestly, so far from presentation alone, I agree with them. Because if they really, everything is recyclable and they're giving a meal to a less fortunate individual like this, that sounds great. The next part I wasn't quite expecting, but it was a pleasant surprise. When I opened it up, there was a bandana. So I don't know about you guys. I'm not a big clothes for dogs kind of person. Like I wouldn't get my dog like a cute hoodie or whatever. I'd use bandanas just for the hell of it around Christmas and things like that, or I'll knit a jumper if she's cold, but I do more the practical use. But it's just bandanas, I don't know, they're just great. I love them so much, and there's a little guide here on how you should put them on, the different styles. So I figured why not, we'll try some of the styles, and it's got a really cute pattern on it too. Look, it's all little dogs and big dogs, and I love it. It's just so simple and so cute. So, yeah. First style we tried is called the Classic Butternutter. I give it an 8 out of 10. It is fashionable, but not over the top. Beauty did not approve too much. She didn't like it. Next up, we have a superhero cape. Beauty approved of this slightly more, just because she doesn't like things too much in her chest and in the way like the first. So this one gets a 9 out of 10. Finally is the sailor one. Beauty definitely approved of this more. She was more willing to actually look up and move around. She was happy out, so we're going to give this one a 12 out of 10. Altogether, the bandana has been a success. Back to the box, then there's a little booklet and it's got different information about the company themselves, who started it, why they started it, the different things that they can do. There's a page on how to properly store and defrost the food. There's just little jokes and stuff throughout it. I like the style. Information how to transition your dog to the new food, about the people themselves, why they started it, a little bit of information on each of the different meals, what they're composed of, what they're meant to be based off. There's the ideas of how to refer someone. So yes, you can refer someone, you can get money off your first one, like my friend referred me, so I got 75% off. There's information how to contact them about different issues, different troubleshooting issues. And then there's a little page on how you can keep track yourself on how your dog is getting on with the new meal. So whenever you switch a dog to new food, sometimes it can upset their stomach if they're not used to it. And if you switch them too quickly, you can't just overnight be like, we're going to this new food. So it's just, I don't know, it's a nice information pamphlet that they're not going to assume you already know this stuff. And I like that a lot because a lot of companies just assume, oh, well, of course they know this, they have a dog. But a lot of people don't know that, so you can't just assume it. And this company's gone beyond to make sure that you are fully informed. Underneath this cardboard, there is then some wool. So this company has chosen to use wool as an insulator in their box to make sure everything stays cold and fresh. A lot of places would use polystyrene, but polystyrene takes a very long time to decompose. So these guys have decided they're going to be using a recyclable material, and it's literally just a big sheet of wool. So I really like that. It's very natural and not a big issue for the environment. And Beauty definitely liked the smell of the wool and or the food. I don't know, but it's something new, so she liked it. There was ice packs. They were entirely solid. There was no melting in them whatsoever. And considering they were sent out, as far as I'm aware, they were sent out yesterday. Maybe they were sent out extraordinarily early this morning. I don't know. But everything was frozen solid. And Beauty was definitely interested. She got off the couch to look for her food bowl because she was looking for when the food was going to be dished out. There are lots of different flavours. There was pork this way. There's wham bam lamb. There's a chicken one. Even just from picking them up, they look like they're packaged well. They're airtight. Chow down chicken. They look presentable. They've got good long dates on them until 2022, October of 2022. So if your dog is fussy and they don't want to eat it immediately, it's okay. You can just leave it in the freezer. Beef It Up is another one. I think that's the one that's based on shepherd's pie. So it's got sweet potatoes and it's got peas and stuff as far as I'm aware. It moved too fast. I can't read it. Each of these pouches is roughly 600 grams or so. The weight in it will vary from one to the other because some things are more dense than others, and it's just the calories that you really need to count. Gobble Gobble turkeys, and then I'll probably save one of them for around Christmas time. You can put all of those into the freezer, and then for the wool itself, I was looking at it again, and I was just going to put it in the corner. I was going to put it in and recycle it, but I noticed that it actually says on it, it has some writing on it, and it says, oh, this is fully recyclable, but it also gives options, and it said that you can, it says you can use it to keep slugs away from your plants, so you could wrap it around your plant pot. You can use it as bedding, or you could make a sheep a nice jumper. So I said, well, why not? It's a bit of enrichment, it's a bit of mental stimulation. I'm going to give it to Beauty into one of her, she's got my bed that she's allowed to sleep in. She's got her good bed, which is like comfy and squishy. And then she's got like a mat on the ground for if she's too warm, she can lie on that instead. So I said, why not? And I decided I was going to put it down onto the mat, just so it's something that's different. It's an interesting smell. It's something for her to look around at. Maybe it's comfortable and she'll lie in it. If she doesn't, that's okay. I can just go and put it in the recycling bin, or I can find someone else whose dogs might use it. But it's thick, it's comfortable, it's a little bit dusty just because that's the way wool is. But if you just give it a shake outside first, it's no problem. I was just putting away the boxes actually, and I realised I'd missed this. The piece of cardboard I put to one side earlier actually has the nutritional information of all the different types of packets. So it says here, we've perfectly portioned your dog's meals to suit their individual needs, but you can use this table as a rough guide, and it's based on a moderate amount of snacks or treats. And as a pet parent, you know your dog best, but let us know if you have any questions. And each of the things, it's Beef It Up, Gobble Gobble Turkey, Chow Down Chicken, Wham Bam Lamb, Swish Fish Dish, which I did not get, and then Pork This Way. And it's got all the information of what's in it. And so if you've got a dog with allergies, this would be really useful as well, because you can double check to make sure that stuff isn't in it. Just on the topic of allergies, I don't know how I forgot to say this at the start. When you first sign up for this, you fill out a lot of details about your dog. So you can say their age, their weight, their breed, any sort of issues they have, like allergies or diabetes and so on and so forth. And they will just make sure that the food that you're getting is tailored to that. So obviously if your dog is allergic to chicken, they're not going to give you any of the meals that have chicken in them. They'll advise against it, and so on and so forth. So I just think that that's really handy. It's a bit reassuring, and I just really like it. Maybe I'm the only one who got a little bit stressed about this, but on the website they said that 14 days worth of stuff took up roughly a loaf's worth of bread in your freezer, and I wasn't quite happy with that measurement. So these are roughly 17 centimetres or 6.5 inches by roughly 18 centimetres or 7 inches, and they're about an inch and a little bit to 3 centimeters thick. So that way you know how many you can freeze, like you can fit in your freezer, and you'll be able to actually calculate it, because I was a little bit panicky about that, because I was worried if I ordered, I wanted to order, what was it, the 4 weeks worth, but I was worried that if I ordered 4 weeks worth, I wouldn't have room in my freezer, so I ended up going with the 2 weeks worth for that reason and that reason alone, but they fit. For anyone here who doesn't know Beauty or hasn't seen my previous videos that have mentioned her, Beauty is the most food-loving animal you will ever meet in your life. She would 100%, if I were falling off a cliff and she was fully understanding of this and there was a bowl of food, she'd make sure to eat the food first. Even if I was like a second away from death, she loves her food to an extraordinary degree. As I was plating up or bowling up this food, she was sitting beside me, just shaking, staring at the table, waiting, sitting, and then she'd scooch back a little bit and sit again. And I think she was like, okay, yeah, I'm sitting, give me the food. But I had to mix it up with her old food, obviously, to adapt her to the new food without upsetting her stomach too much. She was a little hesitant at first. She kind of picked at the top of it, but I think it's because she's never had cold food before. Most of the wet food things that I've served before have been like, just the pouches you buy in the pet shop, and they're not actually cold, they're just room temperature. But I think after a second she kind of caught on that, oh, this is food, and it was gone in less than 2 minutes, which is, even for her, pretty good. Usually she takes about 3.5 minutes to finish her bowl, whereas today it was 2 after the initial pickiness of, oh, this is cold. Butternut Box do say that you can heat up their food, so if you pop it into a microwavable bowl, just make sure it's not a metal bowl, and put it into a microwave, you can heat it up, just make sure that it's warm, not hot. If it's like steaming, it's too hot, because obviously a dog that's enthusiastic about their food is just going to dive straight in and eat it, but they're going to burn the hell out of their mouth. It's kind of like when you're heating up food for a baby, so if you think it's too hot for a baby to eat, it's too hot for your dog to eat. If you're unsure, just take the back of your hand, press it against the top of the food. I know you, but oh well. Press it against the top of the food and hold it there for 10 seconds. And if you're like, oh, this is uncomfortably warm, it's too hot for them, just leave it to one side for a minute, chop it up with a fork or a knife to let out the steam or let out the heat, and you can give it to them after a few minutes. Usually when Beauty's done her food, she'll lick the bowl once or twice and then she'll walk off. Today she decided she was going to bring the bowl for a walk around the kitchen. So she licked this bowl to within an inch of its life. I'd say she probably has plastic in her system at this point. So I'd say that's a good sign for the Butternut Box. So she had the pork this way one, and she appears to have really, really liked it. So I genuinely can't think of anything negative to say about this food. Maybe the fact that some people won't have freezer space or won't have fridge space, whereas nuts, it's just easy to keep them a bag of kibble in the corner of the room. But it's just a convenience thing, to be honest. If you want to have a good food that your dog is going to absolutely love and that you know is healthy for them and good for them, I really think this one's a pretty good option. And Beauty agrees. They don't just do food though, they also have treats and things. So if you want, just check out their website, and if you use my referral code, you can get 75% off your first box. They currently deliver to all of Ireland, Northern Ireland and all of the UK, and they're starting to deliver to some places in the Netherlands. So they're hoping to deliver more widespread after this, but they're working their way up. So I definitely 100% recommend these guys, and if you use the code Rachel1592, you can get 75% off your first box. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll do my absolute best to help, and thank you very much for watching.